Warning! Kinda Murdery contains adult themes, explicit language, and descriptions of violence. It is not suitable for anyone, and we recommend you stop listening now.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Kinda Murdery, a true crime podcast that's mostly about murder, and always about the strange and compelling stories that arise when the path less traveled twists to darkness, and those who walk its shadows surrender to violence and corruption. I'm your host, Daisy Odelberg. We have a perilous journey ahead, so thank you for lending me your courage and good company.
Nice, Daisy, you killed that.
Oh, thanks.
Hey everybody, it's Zevin, and as you just heard, crushing it, Daisy, and we
What's
are
up?
here for a very special Christmas Day edition of...
Kinda Murdery.
Nice. All right, so today we got a couple things going on. There's the story I'm going to tell you, which is called The Lynch Mob That Killed Santa Claus. True story. Yikes. And then Daisy is going to tell us a little bit about... What are you going to tell us about, Daisy?
So I'm going to tell you about my top 5 favorite animes, because, I'm that kind of person. And I will then rank them by murderiness.
Awesome. So, just in case anybody listening may not be familiar, are you cracking your knuckles on the microphone?
Sorry.
Go for it. Let's do it. Quick knuckle cracking session.
Bro.
I'm going to throw a burp in there, too.
Oh, hell no.
Let's do all kinds of body
Can
noises.
you not?
We do body noises? All right.
You're
all right.
cutting this, aren't you?
We'll see.
Oh, God.
Just in case anyone is unfamiliar, what is anime?
Anime is Japanese animation.
And it's specifically Japanese, right?
Yes.
So they're Japanese cartoons, right?
Pardon me?
Okay.
We don't say that word around here.
Yeah, calling anime a cartoon is very offensive because anime weebs, which is like a giant fan. Are you an anime weeb?
Yes.
Okay. Anime weebs think that American cartoons are inferior to Japanese anime, so if you happen to call anime a cartoon, you're offending their sense of, animated superiority. What would
Yes.
you call that?
Correct.
All right. Let's kick this sucker off. And Daisy, I have another, you did such a good job on the intro.
Bruh.
I have another standard thing I always say before the story actually starts, and I wondered if you would like to read that for everybody as well.
I'll bet.
It's this right here, and that says The Lynch Mob That Killed Santa Claus.
If you're ready, I suggest that you put your personal items underneath the seat in front of you. Stow your carry-on in the overhead compartment. Let go of the cares of the day, but make sure your seatbelt is fastened. There's turbulence expected ahead. Kinda Murderies. The Lynch Mob That Killed Santa Claus starts now.
That's right. On this very special Christmas Day family extravaganza episode of Kinda Murdery, I am bringing to you a story entitled The Lynch Mob That Killed Santa Claus. It's about a bank robbery in Texas in 1927. By the way, very instrumental to building out this episode was an article from December 23rd, 2019 by Jake Rawson from mentalfloss.com. And as always, my sources are in the show notes. Woodrow Woody Harris had no reason to think it was not going to be a great Christmas.
Bozo.
Woody was just 14, but already driving around West Texas. You think he's a bozo for not thinking it's going to be a bad Christmas?
El Bozo.
So you feel like 14-year-old Woody should have seen the trouble coming already.
What an L.
What's that mean? What's L mean?
Loss.
Jeez, you're not very patient with the children's, are you?
Bro is older than me. Shut up.
All right. So Woody was only 14 and he's driving around West Texas on December 23rd, 1927. He and his family, his parents and grandmother, were busy finishing their holiday shopping. Woody was steering their brand new Oldsmobile around town. Have you heard of an Oldsmobile before?
No.
It's the car company they named after me.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm old.
Yeah, I got that part.
Okay. At a stoplight, Woody looked out his window and saw something that must have caused him a brief moment of amusement. There in the road was... Who do you think was in the road?
Sorry, I instinct.
You're going to say your mama?
Yes.
That's your grandmother you're talking about, you know.
I got that part. I think it was Me.
You were standing in the road and you've been time traveling?
Yeah, I was just like vibing. I was just vibing in the road, just like...
All right, well...
dancing around like an idiot.
I would say that's a good guess, but that's actually a terrible guess. All right.
Well, you know me. Terrible guesses.
So there in the road was Santa Claus.
Oh, slay.
I mean, not the Santa, obviously.
What? You had a glint in my eye for a second.
But a Santa. And,
slay.
you know, a dude in a Santa suit. And he appeared to be coming toward the Harris's vehicle. But then...
That's crazy.
So he's driving Grandma and the family around town, and then all of a sudden, here's a guy in a Santa suit coming toward the vehicle. Before Woody could process what was happening, Santa, who was running towards his car, Woody's car, suddenly brandished a gun. So did the two men with him. So Santa and his elves all pulled out guns on the Harris family.
Bozo.
They ordered the Harrises out of their car, screaming for them to hurry. Like, come on, get out of the car, like that.
Wow.
The men quickly loaded their belongings from a nearby Buick into the Oldsmobile.
Oh, Buicks are cool.
Yeah, that sounded really convincing. Suddenly I think Kinda Murdery might get sponsored by Buick.
So slay. That'd be cool.
All right, so they loaded their belongings from a nearby Buick into the Oldsmobile, otherwise known as your dad's mobile. Having a good time. Daisy just busted out like the massive yawns over here, like we're in the library listening to books on tape.
Go on, just keep going on with it.
Yeah. They put all their belongings from the Buick into the Oldsmobile, including a giant cumbersome sack, like the kind that Santa totes around for gifts. A gift sack.
Oh, cool. ASMR.
Oh, good.
Tap, tap, tap.
So now you're drinking sparkling water and tapping on the microphone in the middle of the podcast. That's great. Our listeners are really going to appreciate that, Daisy. Thanks. All right. Back to the story. So Santa gets the bleeding man and the kids out of the Buick, puts them in the Oldsmobile, and that's when Woody, who's just had his Oldsmobile jacked, looks down the road, and what does he see down the road? But dozens of men are running towards them, meaning...
Kinda gay.
Okay, dozens of men are running towards them, and almost all of the men have a firearm of some kind. I just want to recap real quick what's happened so far. So it's December 23rd, it's just about Christmas, and the 14-year-old Woody is driving the family's new Oldsmobile with his family through town, and he goes, oh, hey, look, there's a guy in a Santa suit. How nice. And then,
insert eyebrow raise.
And then guy in Santa suit suddenly running towards him, and he's like, gee, this is festive. This is, like, you know, in sync with the holiday season. And then suddenly...
No way!
Then suddenly Santa shows up. He pulls out a gun. He's got two other men with him. They pull out guns. Then Santa reaches into a Buick, pulls out a bleeding man and two kids. And then Woody's like, wow, this just got really weird really fast. And then he sort of like looks to his left and he sees like the entire town running at him with a bunch of guns. And it's like, this Christmas really took a turn.
What a bozo.
Well, I don't know if it's Woody's fault. Woody was just driving his family around in the Oldsmobile.
I blame him.
I blame Buzz Lightyear.
I blame you.
Well, you know, I am your dad, so...
I blame Buzz Lightyear, too.
All right, so Woody Harris did not know why Santa had a gun, why he was accompanied by a badly injured bleeding man, why there appeared to be a mob who wanted to kill him, or why Santa had carjacked the Harris family. Woody and his relatives just ran away, while gunshots rung out in the air.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it wouldn't be such a great Christmas for the Harrises, after all. Dun dun dun! So obviously, guys, everyone listening, and Daisy, Woody and his family, what do you think they're wondering right now? Like, what's the big question on their mind?
When is Andy coming?
Yeah, they're just focused on a string of Toy Story jokes, for sure. Actually, what they're probably wondering is what the hell's the deal with the Santa Claus, the murdery Santa Claus with the bleeding guy and the sidekicks with guns and the kidnapped children and the lynch mob, right? That's probably what they're wondering. Like, what the hell's going on with all this? I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Are you wondering that, or are you just over it?
I don't really know anymore.
Well, I hope you're wondering, because I'm about to tell you. So let's try this. Daisy, Are you wondering what's going on with the guy in the Santa suit with the sidekicks with the guns and the lynch mob and the kidnapped kids?
Kinda. That sounds intriguing.
So the man in the Santa Claus suit, his name was Marshall Ratliff, a 24-year-old Texan who was not exactly filled with Christmas spirit. Seemingly, all clothing aside, he was not a big Christmas spirit guy. No, I'm not saying he was naked. I said all clothing aside, and she looked at me like I said that he was...
Insert rock face.
...running around nude. He was not.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I'm outraged.
Okay. He was seemingly a born troublemaker. He was perpetually on Santa's naughty list, if you will.
Both.
Ratliff, as opposed to having a job, he preferred crimes both large and small. And a few years earlier, he and his brother, Lee Ratliff, these are the Ratliff brothers, had robbed a bank in Valera, Texas. Throwing the money around freely and boasting of the heists while consuming large amounts of alcohol, the Ratliffs were eventually picked up and sentenced to prison before being pardoned by Governor Miriam Ferguson, who was well known for issuing pardons after 1 year of being in jail. It's just something she liked to do.
Oh, slay.
People go to jail for a year, then she lets them out willy-nilly.
Oh.
So the brothers then wandered around West Texas in search of work. They were trying to find a job on an oil rig, but they failed, and they soon found themselves in a boarding house in Wichita Falls, operated by a woman named Midge Tellett. And with no... does that sound like a fake name to me? Midge Tellett?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Me neither. With no job prospects, they decided to tackle another bank robbery. This time in Cisco, Texas, a small town in Eastland County with a population of about 7,000. Have you heard of the musician Cisco?
No.
The song Thong Song?
Uh-oh. Pardon me?
So, Ratliff's plan was simple. He intended to borrow a Santa suit that Tillette had sewn for her husband to wear, and then he thought he would be well disguised, which was necessary because, you see, he'd spent some time in Cisco, Texas before, and he feared he would be recognized. So he's afraid they're going to recognize him in the town where he's going to rob the bank. So in order to keep a low profile and make sure nobody notices him, he decides to wear a Santa outfit.
Oh, wow.
That seems real big-brained, doesn't it?
For real, though.
Okay.
Big brain. Points at head.
All right. So he and his brother recruit a couple other guys, Henry Helms and Robert Hill, and they drive into town. And by the way, Cisco is 200 miles from Wichita Falls, so they drive 200 miles. By the time they get there, it's late in the morning on December 23rd. Ratliff puts on his Santa outfit, including a beard and a red cap, and he gets let out only a few steps from the bank. Then, Robert Hill drives to an alley near the bank's back door where he parks the Buick. Ratliff, this is an odd choice by him, and it's going to play a role here. Ratliff walks down the street, waving and greeting excited kids who approach him.
Massive L.
Yeah. Now, it's not entirely clear why Ratliff preferred to do this over simply, say, exiting the vehicle close to the bank, but maybe he was trying to provide some distraction for the Buick as it went into the alley. So he's waving to children, and as he strolls, a 6-year-old girl named Frances Blazengame sees him and begins tugging on her mother's hand. She wants to follow Santa as he walks into the bank.
Stalker?
Yeah, the child was stalking Santa. So rather than acting as the effective disguise that he hoped it would, Ratliff would discover that Santa's hold on a child's imagination would in fact prove to be the crew's undoing.
You know what I'm surprised about?
What's
like,
that?
no kids are, like, afraid of Santa. Like a guy literally jumps down your maybe non-existent chimney, it depends where you live, and delivers strange wrapped objects. Like, you don't know if there's, like, a bomb in there, but they're, like, trying to catch him. Meanwhile, I'm, like, scared for my life at night that there's a monster under my bed, but I'm never scared that Santa's gonna come down the chimney, the non-existent chimney, and be like, ooga booga, here's your bomb, and just, like, run off and go deliver literally billions of presents to other kids. Like, that sounds pretty terrifying if you ask me.
That's a good point. I never really thought about just how kind of murdery Santa Claus is. You're right.
like, don't lie.
Everybody's afraid of clowns, but not afraid of the old man in the creepy suit that comes down your non-existent chimney.
For real.
That's a great point, Daisy. Somebody ought to write a letter to somebody about that. All right, so...
I'm just luxuriously stretching over here.
To Daisy's point, Santa Claus's hold on the imagination of children would turn out to be Ratliff's crew's undoing. So Ratliff meets up with his henchmen in the alley, and they all head inside. There's 16 people in the bank at the time, including tellers and customers, and when Santa walks in, he's greeted with smiles. But Ratliff did not bother to keep up the pretense for long. "Reach for the sky!" he screams, brandishing
I
his gun.
swear to God.
What, did I scare you?
No, I mean, kinda.
What were you swearing to God about?
Reach for the sky?
That's something people say
I
when
know.
they put your hands up. Oh. What?
That's what Woody says.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
Oh my God.
So he's like, "Put your hands up. This is a stick up." You know, all those like shakes, gagging noises. Okay. As Ratliff's cohorts cover the nervous crowd, Ratliff himself produces a sack and tells the tellers to begin pouring money into it. The haul totaled $12,000. He also forced an employee to open the bank vault, taking notes worth $150,000, along with checks, bonds, and some other valuables. As Ratliff frantically fills his sack, Francis Blasingame...
I'm trying not to yawn.
So, is this story just boring the bejesus out of you?
I mean...
Yeah, okay. All right. So, this is kind of the key. There's some key stuff coming up, then we'll fast forward a little bit, all right?
Crying inside, smiling like an idiot. That's just me.
Sounds like a Lana Del Rey album. Crying inside, smiling like an idiot. That's just me. By
For
Lana
real,
Del Rey.
though. For real, though.
All right. So,
Oh, yeah?
Ratliff is filling up the Santa sack with stolen booty when the little girl, Frances
What do you
Blasingame,
mean by
and
that?
her mother enter the bank. There they see Santa waving a gun surrounded by crumpled bills. Both Frances and her mother try to bolt for the front door, but the bandits have blocked it in. No one, however, thought to cover the rear exit where they planned to escape to the Buick. So the Blasingame sprinted out, ignoring calls to stop, and ran directly to the police station, where they informed Chief of Police G.E. Bedford that the First National Bank was in the middle of an armed robbery led by Santa Claus. Bedford tossed riot guns to his officers George Carmichael and R.T. Reddy's, and they stormed out. Just to make sure you're following what's going on, this jackwagon was afraid he might be recognized, so he disguised himself with a Santa suit. But the little girl's fascination with Santa is the whole reason that they followed him into the bank, which is the whole reason they ran out of the bank and straight to the police station to tell the cops what was happening, and the cops immediately show up with machine guns.
That's crazy.
Yeah, what a jackwagon, right?
For real.
Okay. You would think, Daisy, that the police with machine guns would be a pretty big problem for bank robbers, right?
Mm.
Well, what if I told you that the cops were actually the least of the robbers' worries?
No way.
Daisy just took a sip of her LaCroix very dramatically before that no way. It was hilarious. All right, yes, it is true that the cops were the least of their worries because you see, the Blasingames running and screaming had drawn the public's attention, and soon a crowd began to gather outside the bank. And you want to know why this was an even bigger problem than the cops? There'd been a lot of bank robberies around Texas at the time.
Wow.
And so, the Texas Bankers Association had just started offering a $5,000 reward, which is roughly equivalent to $73,000 in today's money.
I want it.
Yeah. So, they started offering a $73,000 reward for any civilian who could shoot and kill a bank robber. But not 1 cent for 100 live ones. So if you captured 100 live bank robbers, you get $0. If you vigilante murder one bank robber, you get $73,000.
Wow.
So that is why...
Just luxuriously cracking my back.
Yeah, I know. I'm really holding your attention here. That is why the crowd was a bigger problem than the police, because everyone in the crowd would get $73,000 if they could just manage to shoot the bank robbers dead.
Shoot 'em dead.
Yeah.
When you realize you're not funny.
No, you're funny. I'm just wondering if you're following what's happening here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
There's a bounty for dead bank robbers.
That's right, and not 1 cent for a live one.
Yeah.
So the Old West style protocol, which was dubbed the Dead Robber Reward, also didn't pay out for wounding a bank robber. Only straight up murder. That's all you got paid for. So all of a sudden there's 100 heavily armed people standing outside of the bank, and in fact, the local hardware store owner is literally passing around shotguns.
Wow.
because there's 73,000...
91 bottles of shotgun.
Yeah, take one down, pass it around, exactly. So there's 100 heavily armed people looking to get $73,000 and they're out for Santa's blood. Okay, so Ratliff has to improvise. He decides he takes 16 people from inside the bank and he forces them to follow him outside the bank, but he makes all 16 of them stand in front of him and the other robbers, creating a human shield between themselves and the angry mob.
Oh, yeah?
But the thing is, the residents who really want that $73,000 don't care at all about shooting the innocent people. So they just start firing away anyway.
That's so heartless, OMG.
The mob was firing freely into the human barrier.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Death awaits.
Ratliff and his cohorts and 2 girls from the bank crowd, Laverne Cormer and MMA Robinson, all pile into the Buick. And during the chaos, the robbers also open fire on the police, Bedford and Carmichael, fatally wounding both.
Death!
Yeah.
Rip bozo.
With the wounded man and the hostages in tow, things looked bad and they were about to get worse. A bullet had punctured the Buick's tire.
Uh-oh.
And also, owing to the 200-mile drive from Wichita Falls, the Buick was low on gas. They would need a new vehicle, and soon. Meanwhile, the mob is following them on foot. This is everything that's happened until Ratliff spots Woody Harris and the Harris family's new Oldsmobile. So that's where the story started, right? Santa came running up with his sack and the wounded man and the kids, and Woody Harris was like, oh, it's going to be a nice Christmas. Oh, no, wait, Santa's got a gun. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've arrived at that point in the story again. Everything's gone completely sideways. Their car's out of gas. They've got a flat tire. The police are dead. The hostages are screaming. The kids are hungry. All this stuff.
Mm.
And that's when he sees the Harris's Oldsmobile. And he's like, cha-ching, a new car.
Oh, slay.
Mm-hmm.
Money rich.
So
Boy.
the outlaws force the Harrises out of the car. The Harrises take off running and they jump in the Oldsmobile. But these guys are just geniuses.
What about a Batmobile?
That would have been handy. But so guess what happens now? So they've carjacked this Oldsmobile, right? And Woody Harris and his family have gone running off. That's when the outlaws realize that the now long departed Woody Harris, although he handed over the car, did not hand over the car keys.
I'm trying my hardest. Gonna break my jaw trying not to yawn. Who's Ratcliffe again?
The main robber.
Oh, slay.
Gonna break your jaw trying not to yawn. You're hurting my feelings.
You're welcome.
So, just to be clear, they stole this car, they frightened off Woody Harris's family, and it's only when everybody's gone that they realize they never got the keys to the car.
Bozos.
Alright, so now...
What a plot twist. Wow.
So now, the mob is close enough that there's a full-on 100-person, heavily armed gunfight happening. They realize they just stole a car they can't start.
Uh-oh.
It's a complete mess.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, exactly. And so then they have to go get back in the Buick with its flat tire. They make it a few miles till the Buick breaks down. Then, a few days later, they get cornered by the authorities near the Brazos River. There's another shootout, and eventually they're all arrested. All 3 robbers stand trial for their crimes. There's a bunch of civilian injuries. There's the dead police officers, etc. Basically, they all feign insanity. That doesn't work. The 2 sidekicks receive 99-year sentences and are released sometime in the mid-1940s. The fate of Ratliff, the gang's malevolent Santa, was far more sensational. He was charged with robbery and abduction. The young hostage, Emma Ray Robinson, had seen him without his Santa Claus disguise on and made a positive identification in court.
Wow.
He also was convicted to a 99-year sentence and charged with the death of one of the police officers, and for that he got a death sentence. Like Helms, his sidekick, Ratliff decided that pleading insanity would be his best option. In fact, he seemed to be gripped with mental illness the very day Helms was executed. Awaiting a ruling on his appeal in the Eastland County Jail, he stopped eating and talking, forcing 2 jailers, Tom Jones and Pack Kilborn, to assist him. After serving him a meal one night, the 2 accidentally left Ratliff's cell unlocked. Far from being catatonic, he sprung into action, grabbing a pistol from a nearby desk and shooting Jones multiple times before Kilborn managed to subdue him. The people of Eastland County were not feeling particularly hospitable toward Ratcliffe, who had just badly wounded yet another, a third if you're counting, police officer.
Dang, get what's coming to you.
Yeah, he's about to. As Jones was being tended to in a hospital, where he would soon succumb to his injuries, the crowd kept vigil around the jail, growing from 1,000 to 200 people who were becoming more ornery. You know what ornery means?
No idea.
It's a combination of angry and stubborn, like a mule. Ornery. I'm feeling ornery.
Me all the time.
All right. The crowd is becoming more like Daisy by the hour. More ornery. Come evening.
How is that spelled?
Ornery. Ornery.
Oh.
Come evening, they decided justice had been too long delayed. They stormed the jailhouse and pinned Kilbourne to the floor, grabbing his cell keys. They freed Ratliff, then tied his hands and feet, dragged him outside to where a utility pole stood, and using a length of rope, they strung him up by his neck.
Uh-oh.
The first rope broke. The second one didn't.
Broke?
It broke before Ratliff could die. The second rope did not break.
Uh-oh.
Ratliff was found dead the evening of November 19th, 1929. Authorities ordered he be cut down from the pole. By way of making him even more public of an example, the one-time Santa's corpse was displayed at a furniture store the next day. Yeah, that's intense.
What did he say?
Mommy, what kind of mannequin is that? How much is that corpse Santa in the window?
I will buy it. I'll put him next to my 4 children in my crawl space. They'll love it.
You have children in your crawl space?
Don't ask.
Wait, you have a crawl space?
Also, don't ask.
I want a crawl space.
Never mind.
The one-time Santa's corpse was displayed at a furniture store the next day. No one was ever charged in connection with the lynching.
That's messed up.
Today, First National Bank is still in business, though in a different location and with a different name. It's now First Financial Bank. Where the original First National Bank originally stood, there is a historical marker placed by the Texas State Historical Survey Committee in 1969.
1969.
420 years ago.
Teehee.
So where the bank originally stood, there is a historical marker placed by the Texas State Historical Society Committee in 1967. I don't know why I said 9. Must have been a mental lapse. And
Set me up there.
I did. On that marker, after a brief recap of the events that I've just shared with you, the inscription on the monument gets right to the point and says, quote, "Later, a mob lynched Santa when he broke out of jail."
Dang.
And that is the story
Of the mob lynch Santa.
of the lynch mob who killed Santa. That's correct.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Now, Daisy, I'm sure that by now, everyone's a little bit tired of listening to my voice and are probably excited to hear from you.
Hi.
And so, let's move
What's
on.
up?
As I mentioned at the top, I'm going to talk to Daisy about some of her favorite animes. Those are Japanese animation, otherwise known as cartoons made in Japan, although you're not supposed to call them that.
Holding back tears and anger.
Rage, baby.
Oh.
So Daisy, you're going to tell us about your top 5 favorite animes and also what makes them kind of murdery, is that right?
Yes.
Perfect. Take it away.
So, at number 5, we have Chainsaw Man.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's this kid named Denji who is stuck with a huge debt and had no way to pay it back when his father died. Thanks to the help of a devil dog he saved named Pochita. He had like chainsaw sticking out of his head. It was really weird. Denji was able to get by as a devil hunter working for the Yakuza.
Wait a minute. The Yakuza, like the Japanese mafia?
Yes.
Whoa, and he's got a devil dog, and why is he called Chainsaw Man?
You'll find out in a second. So, when the mob betrays Denji and he's killed by a devil, Pochita sacrifices himself to revive him. Now, Denji has been reborn as a weird devil-human hybrid.
Okay, so why is he called? I'm still not sure why he's called Chainsaw Man.
So basically, he has that little chainsaw pulley thing in his chest. So when he wants to chainsaw out, he can just pull it, and then chainsaws just like stick out of him.
Wait, so does he have chainsaws for arms?
Well, like, he has a chainsaw, like, his head becomes like a chainsaw, and his arms become chainsaws.
His head and his chainsaws?
Yes.
Wait, and his arms become chainsaws? Whoa!
Sometimes there's more chainsaws, but I don't really know.
So how does he can become, like, Mega Chainsaw Man? Like, chainsaw head and arms isn't enough?
Well, I don't really know. I feel like I don't really think there's any more. I could just imagine that there are. Like just, like, coming from, like, everywhere.
Wow. So, I mean, it's like, this anime is essentially Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Japan, but all the time.
Yeah, basically. Okay, then we have number 4, Kakegurui. This anime is about a compulsive gambler named Yumiko who goes to Hyakao Private Academy. This school is run by psychotic student council members. After school hours, gambling takes place almost everywhere in the school. If one falls into the bottom 100 contributors of donations to the student council, they become a house pet. House pets are like slaves and are to do anything that is asked of them.
That's dark.
It's really dark.
Okay.
Then my third favorite, My Hero Academia.
Wait, you want to tell us anything else about Kakegurui, or am I just supposed to sit here silently screaming inside myself about that place where people become house pets because they're compulsive gamblers as children? That's what's going on in that?
More like high school.
Those are children. Once you're my age, those are still children. Anyway, so okay, that's number 4. Got it.
Number 3, My Hero Academia. In the My Hero Academia world, society is divided into 2 halves. People who have quirks, superpowers, and people who don't. A little green-haired boy named Izuku always dreamed of becoming a hero, but he never had a quirk. Izuku is more commonly known as Deku, a nickname his best friend gave him. One day, he encountered his favorite hero, All Might, who soon became a father figure to Deku. All Might then gave Deku his superpower, and he was accepted into the top hero school.
Oh, well, that's uplifting.
Yeah.
All right.
So then we have number 2, Demon Slayer. So this kid named Tanjiro's entire family was slaughtered by a demon called Muzan, but he left Tanjiro's younger sister alive, but as a demon.
Wait, so why do the demons kill the people?
For food.
Wait,
they eat them.
They eat them?
Yeah.
So they're like cannibal vampires?
But all the demons kill like the humans, the demon slayers, for Muzan.
Why does Muzan want them to kill the humans?
I guess for food. I'm not fully sure.
That's a mystery. All right, continue.
And they all just worship Muzan because he's way more powerful than him.
Than who?
Than them. Sorry.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, continue.
So Tanjiro joins an organization called the Demon Slayer Corps and becomes allies with other slayers with different motivations. So in Demon Slayer, there are like different sword breathing styles, like things called like sun breathing and water breathing, where like that's like what happens to your sword when you like use it.
So they're like a master of a different breathing style?
Yeah. I'm
a master of the heavy breathing style.
Trust me, I know. I live with him. And yeah. Basically, if you're gonna like sum Demon Slayer down, you're probably gonna get like, I just breathe really hard, you know? But like that's basically what it is. But anyways, like when you wield your sword, like when you like slash and say like water breathing second form or something, then like water will come out and stuff. It's really cool.
Nice.
The art style's amazing.
What if Santa Claus was a demon slayer? What breathing style do you think he would be a master of?
Snow breathing?
That's
sense. Not really real, but you can create whatever.
I was thinking like peppermint breathing, like you're
just
like
same.
Slicing heads with candy canes.
No,
like,
for real though. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
So my favorite anime, Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I'm gonna do both of those in one thing.
Sounds good to me.
So this anime is about a world in which basically everybody is a ninja. Hired by their...
Fuck yeah. Can we go there? Excuse me, pardon my French.
Hired by their feudal lords to complete missions. The main character, Naruto, was always shunned as a kid because of the 9-tailed fox demon sealed inside of him.
Whoa.
He grew up without parents or friends. His main goal is to become the leader of his village. Along the way, he makes a lot of new friends and allies and stuff.
Okay, I have one question for you. How can I get a 9-tailed... Sorry.
God.
Sorry. How can I get a 9-tailed fox demon sealed inside myself?
God. Anyways. So now I'm going to be telling you why these animes are murdery and the order in which they are murdery. So I'm going to go from least to greatest.
Awesome. And also in some of your favorites, can you tell us maybe like as part of your murder, tell us like one of your favorite characters and why you like them too. At least for like Naruto, which is like a religion in our household.
Yeah, for real. Okay.
It's actually Naruto Christmas. We have a manger with all Naruto characters in it.
Oh, wow.
No, we don't.
Okay, anyways. Number 5. I think this one's the least murdery. My Hero Academia. This anime isn't very gory in my opinion. However, okay, this is going to be a manga spoiler, so skip a few seconds ahead if you don't want spoilers and are interested in the show. So, the main side character Bakugo died in the manga, and 14 real people took their own lives.
Oh my god, that's terribly sad.
Yeah.
Because the cartoon character died?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, the anime character? 14 people took their own lives?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Sorry, Daisy, real quick. This is the obvious segue. I want to remind everyone, I know that the holidays can be a hard time for everybody, for all of us. Please remember the 3-digit lifeline number 988 that you can call to receive immediate counseling for substance use, mental health, and suicidal thoughts. So if you're going through a really hard time, please remember to call 988. Please program it into your phone now. You can always also reach out to me at kindofmurdery@gmail.com. And please always do remember that the world is a better place with you in it.
You are loved.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Daisy. All right, back to your storytelling. Thank you for letting me do that.
I believe that they brought him back to life because of this.
Because they were concerned that were these children that took their own lives?
I don't know.
Oh my god, it's so sad. All right.
Okay, anyways, number 4, Naruto. Yet again, not a very murdery anime, but the ninja in the villages are hired assassins. Even the good guys.
That's pretty murdery.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's your favorite Naruto character?
Naruto.
All right. Who's your second favorite Naruto character?
Sakura.
Tell us a little bit about Sakura.
So she likes punching people for no reason. She has pink hair, green eyes. She's a simp. She madly in love with this guy. Sasuke. Kind of like me though. I'm madly in love with anime characters. That's the reason I like anime. 2D men just hit different. If you know what I mean. Yes.
2D men hit different.
And women, because I have 7 2D men boyfriends, 3 girlfriends, and a husband.
Do you have a wife?
No. But I have a husband.
Oh, right. Well...
One Piece! The One Piece is real!
Is Monkey D. Luffy your husband?
Yes.
Oh,
look him up. He's kind of he's fine.
Speaking of which, guys, speaking of One Piece, I was lucky enough to have Laura Jackman on the show, who is one of the producers of the Netflix One Piece film that will be coming out, the live action series is what I should have said. The Netflix live action series. So look out for that. It'll be coming out soon. She's a great, awesomely interesting person, a phenomenal writer, and she tells some great stories. So look out for Laura Jackman, producer of the Netflix One Piece series. Daisy, back to your list.
Oh yeah, and the One Piece Red film, that was a slay. Okay. Anyways, number 3, Kakegurui. No one really dies in this anime, but I think this deserves number 3 on the list. My personal favorite character, Midari, carries a gun wherever she goes and places bets where both people's lives are at stake. Also, when a house pet is in immense debt, the student council gives them a life plan, planning out their future.
So the high school kids carry guns and place bets that can result in their own death or the death of the person they're betting with.
Yeah.
And they also turn their fellow students into indentured servants and dictate what they can do for the rest of their lives.
The girl house pets are cats and the males are dogs.
This is super disturbing.
Yeah.
And very murdery. Is this explicit? Is this show targeted at children? Is this for kids or is it for super gross adults?
Not for kids.
Yeah, I didn't know that I was letting Daisy watch this one, guys. We might have to reevaluate some parenting decisions here. Okay, Daisy, back to your list.
Okay. Number 2, Demon Slayer. There's a lot of death and tragedy. The fact that the main character's family was brutally murdered by a Michael Jackson, just Google Muzan, is just horrible and tragic. Also...
Wait, what do you mean by a Michael Jackson? What?
You should Google Muzan, because he looks just like Michael Jackson, not even gonna lie.
Okay, that's kind of murdery.
Okay, also, I cannot think of a single character without a sad backstory.
Okay.
Number 1, Chainsaw Man. a lot of blood, and I mean a lot. There's like a gallon of blood anytime someone gets cut. Plus, the main character Denji actually factually said, so basically, I can turn into a bunch of chainsaws. I'd also like to add that the character Power can make weapons out of her own blood, like maybe like a sledgehammer.
Okay, a man who can turn into a bunch of chainsaws and a woman with a blood sledgehammer? That is super duper murdery.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kick-ass job. Thank you for the anime overview. So, just to recap, your favorites were from 5 to 1, so people can go watch them. Just do the names. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Chainsaw Man, Kakegurui, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, and Naruto.
And where are these available? Where can you watch them?
So you can watch Naruto on Netflix and Hulu, and watch Naruto Shippuden on Hulu and Crunchyroll and stuff. You can watch any of these animes on Crunchyroll, maybe Funimate. Not Funimate, God, that's an editing service.
But
Funimation,
we don't have
Funimation.
Crunchyroll, so where have you been watching them?
Hulu?
Hulu and a combination of Hulu and Netflix, right?
Yeah. I have been watching Demon Slayer on Netflix and Hulu. The first season's on Netflix, but the rest of it's on Hulu. So first you got the first season, then the movie Mugen Train, which is cut up into episodes on Hulu, and season 2, which is Entertainment District.
And also, you like to cosplay,
Uh-oh.
You like to cosplay anime characters, right?
Yeah.
All right. So maybe I'll post if she gives me permission, I may post a picture or video of Daisy in a costume to one of the social media services. It's at Kinda Murdery on all social media. Maybe you'll get to see Daisy cosplaying as a character, assuming she gives permission. I'm not going to force her.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, season 3 of Demon Slayer is coming out in January, and I'm very excited.
Did you say it's coming out in theaters? Are they going to release the season as a movie?
Well, it's going to be premiering in theaters in January, and I think it's going to be, like, in theaters on February.
So then is it going to be like they took the whole season and turned it into, like, a 3-hour movie or something?
I don't know.
Cool. Well, have to go check that out.
Hell yeah. Okay, then, My Hero, I just watch it on Hulu. It's all on Hulu. The new episodes come out on Hulu. But, of course, it's on Funimation and Crunchyroll. All this is. Kakegurui, I'm watching that on Netflix. And I think there's a new one called Kakegurui Twin, but, I don't know much about it.
I'm just asking her this, everybody, so I can figure out which services to put parental controls on so she stops watching all these super effed up animes, right?
I guess. Okay, then Chainsaw Man, I just watch it on Hulu. New episodes come out on Hulu.
Yeah, unsubscribe. Just kidding. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Daisy. It's been so much fun hanging out with you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been a Odelberg Family Christmas Kinda Murdery special featuring the lynch mob that killed Santa Claus and, of course, Daisy Odelberg's top 5 animes and top 5 most murdery animes. I'm Zevin Odelberg.
And I'm Daisy.
And this has been
Kinda Murdery.